Jan carefully packed her suitcase, while her husband relaxed on the couch, unwinding from a long day at work. "It's a pity we couldn't go on this trip together," she sighed, "but maybe we'll get the chance in the future." Gianna had made the decision to take this vacation with her good friend Camila, as her husband's schedule didn't align with hers. Unable to take time off at the same time, Gianna, eager for a much-needed break, quickly convinced Camila to accompany her. Asha's job had been particularly chaotic lately, with multiple specialists leaving, causing the remaining staff to pick up the slack. The process of hiring new employees was slow, so taking a vacation seemed out of the question for him. Still, Gianna, with her determined and resilient nature, refused to let the situation dampen her spirits. She was always quick to find solutions to any obstacles in her way. Without delay, she and Camila chose a hotel and booked their tickets. The day passed by in a blur, and before they knew it, they were off. Throughout the trip, Asha stayed in constant contact with Gianna, which helped lessen the distance between them. His demanding work schedule also kept him busy, which made the time apart more bearable. When Gianna returned, the couple decided to celebrate with a dinner at a local restaurant, toasting to their reunion. Asha couldn't help but notice how radiant Gianna looked, her skin slightly tanned, and she seemed more relaxed than ever. It was clear the vacation had worked wonders for her. The week quickly passed, and they soon fell back into their usual routine. Gianna returned to work, meaning their interactions were now limited to the brief moments they had in the mornings and evenings. Then, one day, Asha finished work early and arrived home ahead of his usual time. As he was about to unlock the door, a voice startled him from behind. Turning around, he was surprised to see a young man holding a large bouquet of flowers. "Hi, is this apartment 50? I have a beautiful bouquet here for Jana. Would you mind taking it for her?" the man asked. Confused, Asha accepted the bouquet of pristine white lilies and headed inside. As he rummaged through the flowers in search of a note, Gianna arrived home. "It looks like a courier delivered you flowers," Asha said, watching her reaction closely. For a moment, he thought Gianna might recognize the sender, but her surprise mirrored his own as she examined the unexpected gift. "This must be some sort of mistake. Today isn't my birthday," she remarked, puzzled. "But the courier gave your name and this apartment number," Asha pointed out. "Asha, I honestly have no idea who could have sent these. If they bother you, feel free to get rid of them." "I can't imagine who they're from," she replied. Despite her words, Asha couldn't shake a growing sense of unease. He decided it was best to keep a closer eye on his wife. A few days later, he noticed something odd. Gianna had started spending more and more time on her phone, constantly messaging someone. When Asha asked, she casually mentioned that she was chatting with her girlfriends. However, it struck him as strange that she never let her phone out of her sight anymore, whereas before, she would often leave it lying around the house. Driven by curiosity, Asha took the opportunity to snoop one afternoon while Gianna was in the shower. He sifted through her phone but found nothing incriminating. However, he did notice something peculiar: she hadn't messaged any of her friends in days. So, who had she been texting so frequently? The mystery began to unravel one evening when Gianna was busy cooking dinner, and Asha was absorbed in reading at his computer. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. They weren't expecting anyone, so Asha got up to answer the door. A mix of confusion and curiosity painted his face as a stranger, dressed in a sharp suit, appeared at the doorstep, holding a bouquet of flowers. Asha's eyes were drawn to the flowers, white lies, the very same type the courier had mistakenly delivered to their apartment not long ago. The man smiled politely and started speaking quickly in French. Asha, though not fluent, managed to catch on enough to realize that the man was asking to speak with Gianna. Oddly enough, the stranger referred to Asha as brother. "Who are you?" Asha asked, his language skills from years ago kicking in. "I'm her boyfriend," the stranger replied without hesitation, showing a photo on his phone. The image depicted him and Gianna on a beach, with Gianna adjusting her hat noticeably. Her wedding ring was missing from her finger. "Ah, yes," Asha thought bitterly, "my wife certainly enjoyed her time there." He called Gianna from the kitchen, curious to see how she'd talk her way out of this one. Gianna appeared, wiping her hands on a towel and muttering softly to herself, her gaze moving from the stranger to Asha. "Gianna, Your admirer is here, and is quite eager to see you, Asher announced, barely hiding his sarcasm. The foreigner's face lit up upon seeing her, but Gianna visibly paled. As he moved forward to offer her the flowers, she instinctively took a step back. Asher, please, tell me who this man is. I don't know him, she said cautiously. The stranger kept talking in his rapid French, but his eyes now locked onto her hands, noting the absence of the wedding ring. Then, his gaze shifted to Asher's hand, and realization dawned. The friendliness drained from his expression, replaced by fury. His voice escalated as he began shouting at Gianna, throwing the flowers to the ground in a fit of rage. Surprisingly, Gianna managed to calm him down at least to some degree, though her efforts were mostly in vain. Even after his anger subsided, he continued his tirade before storming out of the apartment. Asher turned to his wife, who looked pale and dazed, though she didn't bother trying to pass the situation off as a misunderstanding. The truth was obvious: she had begun a vacation affair. Her lover had no idea she was married, and, likely smitten by her charm, had come to surprise her. He had sent flowers and written letters, but Gianna had already slipped back into the role of the faithful wife, making his grand gestures seem awkward and out of place. Meeting Asher's gaze, Gianna spoke softly, her voice trembling slightly. Asher, please forgive me. Things got out of hand. We had a drink, and he asked me to dance. I see now why you preferred texting over calling. It was Camila who was replying to me, wasn't it? Asher responded, his voice laced with sarcasm. Realizing she couldn't wriggle out of this one, Gianna remained silent, knowing that further explanations were futile. Just go. Pack your things and leave, Asher said, his voice sharp. Stunned by the firmness in his tone, she hesitated. Well, actually, I have rights to this place too, she replied, her tone shifting from pleading to defiant. Everything's already settled legally. You've got 10 minutes, Asher snapped, glancing at his watch and tapping it impatiently. Seeing her normally composed husband on the verge of losing his temper, Gianna decided not to push her luck. She quickly gathered her essentials and left the apartment, leaving behind the tension that was rapidly building. Asher later learned from a neighbor that Gianna had rushed out of the building, frantically asking people about the man in the suit who had left not long before. It was clear she was trying to find the stranger, perhaps hoping to rekindle something, but Asher had a feeling it wouldn't end well for her. Despite the grim situation, Asher felt an odd sense of relief. At least now, he had uncovered her true nature before wasting more years in a marriage built on lies. Who knew how many other strangers she might have pursued over time? Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.